Hello and welcome back to another news video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. This time we're looking at a brand new Lodestone page talking about the next Moogle Treasure Trove event. So the itinerant Moogle event is coming back to Eorzea for Final Fantasy XIV on the 18th of May 2020 at 8 AM GMT. So yeah, only 7 days from now we'll be able to start grinding away in certain objectives for some interesting rewards, a couple of which are unique to this event and cannot be obtained elsewhere, so stay tuned to look at the rewards. This will last until the launch of 5.3, they say, which is pretty much, we don't have a release date on it. The rumor is, and the, sort of discussion we had in the live letter pointed towards a mid or late July release, thanks to the current situation in the world. So how this works then, if you've never known before, is that you do a set amount of objectives which will be listed on this actual page when we scroll down. You get tomestones from them and you can exchange them. The two things they're featuring here include the Mama Sheba neckerchief, which looks absolutely adorable, and then we have this, which I believe is the Reveling Kamoi from Susanoo. So the extreme trial in Stormblood where you fight against Susanoo, it has a chance of dropping a dog mount, a Kamoi, and I believe this is the one from Susanoo. I'm pretty much guaranteeing that. We'll see as we scroll down if I'm good with pictures or not. So there we go. There's the explanation. You challenge the objectives, you get tomestones, and then you exchange them in major city-states, all three of the starting city-states, so Ul'dah, Gridania, and Limsa Lominsa, for various rewards. Now, as we scroll past the stuff we've already talked about, you'll see that we get 10 tomestones of lore from this event from the Praetorium. The Praetorium, 50-minute sort of cutscenes back to back, no way of skipping them unless you disconnect. Not possible to do collectively with a pug group, so that's going to take you 50 minutes for 10. Isn't exactly good. Probably the worst use of time. If you're aiming to actually farm for these directly as your main goal, then going into the Praetorium is probably not going to be the best solution for you. If you are in the Praetorium anyway, then it's nice to get them as a reward. But yeah, I wouldn't focus on that if you're trying to farm stuff as fast as possible. Then we have the tier for 7 tomestones as a reward, including Castrum Meriadianum, which again has unskippable cutscenes and takes like nearly 30-something minutes. Or we have Auburn Monastery, which has skippable cutscenes and is actually a real pleasure. It's part of the Ivalice, Return to Ivalice Alliance raid series from level 70. It goes by pretty quickly. Some of the bosses might be a bit of a problem for some people, but for the most part it's fairly basic. They're trying to basically push us towards doing this series because the new Resistance Relic Weapon series at level 80 requires the Ivalice series to be completed and its storyline to be completed to actually be able to go into that tier of new weaponry. So it's a good idea to promote us to actually go and help other people. Speaking of which, for 6 tomestones, you get 6 tomestones for completing Ridorana Lighthouse, which was the second part of the Return to Ivalice raid series. Very good raid, very enjoyable. Should go by pretty quickly. For 6, that's not too bad. Then we have the tier for 5. Now, specifically, I see Royal City of Rabanastre here. Royal City of Rabanastre is one of the most broken instances for the Alliance raid series. In terms of just how quickly you can get through it synchronized. So, you queue up at level 70 plus, so at level 80 or whatever, and it syncs you down. The bosses absolutely melt. They really changed the syncing to basically favor you going in there, and it just, everything melts. It's very easy, and for 5, that's actually quite good. Quite enjoyable raid as well. I might do a few of those. Hidden Gorge is always fun. Usually takes quite a while for me to queue in on my data center. People don't usually do that much PvP with pug groups. So it'll be nice to do some Hidden Gorge again. There's a few achievements I'm after, and indeed the mounts. So I will definitely be doing Hidden Gorge. Then we have Aurum Vale, which is the shining star that most people overlook. If you get 3 blue mages and a tank, you can blast through this in about, 6 minutes if you're slow, which sounds ridiculous. That's because it is. So 6 minutes or so for 5 tomestones, that's pretty much amazing. I did a video last year for this event, where I showed us going through Aurum Vale with blue mages, and yeah, it's been refined a lot since I did that video. It's very, very quick indeed. So that's my best bet for farming the Mamasheba necklace the fastest, because no doubt it's going to cost a bit. Then we have the tombstone rewards. For Cutter's Cry, we'll give you 4 tombstones. Cutter's Cry is not one of my favorite dungeons at all. It takes too long to complete, in my opinion. And then lastly, we have objectives that give 3 tombstones, including the Sunken Temple of Khan, which is okay. Stone Vigil is actually okay as well. Decimal Darkhold, it's fine, but waiting for the boss to appear, because he's sort of like patrolling as an ad for a while before appearing as a boss, is kind of annoying, so probably not one I would do personally. Then we have the item exchange. Like I said, there's a Moogle, one of these guys, in all of the city-states, like Limsa, Laminsa, New Gridania, and Uldar. There's their sort of positions. I will link, obviously, this in the description of the video. Then we get to the exciting bit, which is the rewards. The Mamasheba neckerchief is exclusive to this event. To note, none of the previous top-tier rewards from the itinerant Moogle events have ever been placed on the cash shop or anywhere else in the game. Essentially, they are time-limited items, or at least for now, until they change that in the future, no doubt. And yeah, this is joining that list. So if you want the Mamasheba-themed neckerchief, which is pretty cool, I personally would like to get that just for my collection. You'll need to save up 100 tombstones, which isn't that bad. It looks bad. You see the big number, but honestly, it's not that bad at all. I'll do a revised version of my guide if people want that for Blue Mage to farm these in no time. Then we have the Ixion Clarion. This is the Ixion mount. The horn summons it. Usually you have to do a fate in the locks of Stormblood, which, you know, you have to wait around for and stuff like that. To give players this for 50 is actually really great. If you've never got this, if you're on a low pop server, perhaps you don't do the world visit system enough, then you can definitely make the most out of this. 50 tombstones is pretty good for the Ixion mount. Then we have the Demonic Lana, which is the one from Zervan. Okay, so in Heavenswood we had birds as rewards. In Stormblood we had dogs. In the base game we had ponies, obviously. Yeah, so in Heavenswood we got birds. This is the Demonic Lana bird mount that dropped very rarely from Zervan on extreme difficulty. Very easy to do these days unsynced. So personally, I wouldn't spend 50 on this. If you need help with this and you're on Chaos Data Center, hit me up. We can get you that mount in no time. Of course, check out the description for the Discord for my public, for my public Discord. Okay, and then we have the Reveling Kamoi Fife. This summons the mount that you could originally get from Susanoo Extreme in Stormblood. That's that blue dog mount, and that will cost you 50. Like I say, you know, you can unsync this as well. It's kind of harder to do, but it's fairly easy to do. I mean, we've done tons of runs for this for several people, so it's not that difficult to get, and I personally wouldn't drop 50 on that unless there was nothing else to get. We have the Unspoken Orchestrion roll, which costs 50, and Rise of the White Raven, which are pretty unique pieces of music in their own regard, for 50. Then for 30 tombstones, we can get a Cockern Earring. I don't remember seeing this anywhere else. I could be wrong. I will definitely be picking that up, however, because I don't own it, and it looks pretty cute. Look at that. It's a Cockern as an earring. That will cost you 30. And then for 30 tombstones each, we can get pretty much all of the Realm Reborn riding maps. So these increase the base speed, both mounted and otherwise on the ground. Because in 5.3, we're getting flying in the old world areas, right? But it's still going to be faster between short distances on the floor with mounts, because the flying isn't affected by these riding maps. But still, these riding maps are quite fun to get. Obviously, if you're going long distance across the zone, like for Central Shroud, it's faster to fly over all the obstacles, obviously. But yeah, you want to get these. They're only 30 each. If you've got nothing else to go for, there's everywhere, pretty much in a Realm Reborn areas for 30. That's pretty good. Then we come down to some other mount rewards. So we got the Drakehorn, Laurel Gobu, the Elbs, the Bomb Palanquin, and the Direwolf. Those are all 30 cost, and those are all the A Realm Reborn Beast Tribe mounts. So if you don't want to do the Beast Tribes from A Realm Reborn, but you want the ultimate reward, which is the mounts, then you can just buy them if you want them, which is, you know, just a thing. They've done this for the last few itinerant Moogle events, so it's not anything exciting at this point now. It's nothing new. Then we have Ithon and Boreas. Obviously, this is Ithon, I believe, is the Ifrit one, and Boreas, I believe, is not Shiva. It might be Shivas or Leviathans. And yeah, it's Shivas, definitely. For 30 tomestones, again, seems a waste of tomestones. These are very easy to farm for. These two pony mounts from A Realm Reborn Trials. Very simple to unsync. Then we have the last thing for 30 is the MGP Platinum card. This would give you 50,000 MGP upon you right-clicking on it and using it in your inventory. This will cost 30. I always recommend people just sink tomestones into these if they've got nothing else they want and they're still getting tomestones. 30 is pretty easy to get. It accumulates quite easily. 50k MGP is pretty good. A lot of people are still going for the mounts and stuff inside the Gold Saucer, and this is going to be a real leg up for that, in conjunction with Fashion Report Friday, obviously. Then we have Kalka Brina. I believe Kalka is the one that's market tradable, and Brina isn't. So these are both little minions that you can obtain from the last boss in the Anti-Tower in Heavensward content. And essentially what's different is when Kalka drops, it's market tradable, and you can trade it on the market, obviously, to other players. But Brina isn't, if I remember, one of the two, right? I think it is definitely Brina you can't trade. But Brina has like a really terrible drop rate. I still do not have this minion to this day. So for 7 tomestones for either of these minions, I will certainly be finishing my collection and finally getting past that RNG block for sure. That's really happy for me. And for 7 tomestones, if you're a minion collector, that's pretty good. Lastly, then, we have the Charlebot, Sephiroth, and Gaius Van Belsa cards, usually from their, you know, assigned fights. Those will cost you 7 each if you still miss those cards, because they're not 100% drop for you when you actually do that content, you know, but I've got most of those. I don't know if I've got the Gaius one, now I think about it. Probably not, but 7's nothing, really. And the last few items, then, so we have 2 Orchestrion rolls and some emote stuff. So we got 777 Whiskers Orchestrion roll from the Beast Tribe for the Namazu, which is an amazing piece of music. And then we have Primal Judgment, which will cost you 7 as well. Lovely piece of music. And like I say, the Job Mastery, Magic Prism stuff, those like emote fireworks will cost you 1 for 10 of the fireworks each. So not particularly, you know, amazing for me personally. The minion is definitely a highlight. I definitely want to pick up Brina, I think it is, out of the 2. Definitely want to get that Cocoon earring. That's something I've not seen before, and it's adorable. The Reveling Camel is not something that interests me because I've already got it, but a lot of people will be picking that up, no doubt. Ixion is a great idea to put here. For 50, a lot of people still don't have that, and there's not many people doing it these days, and if they are, it's at some weird time where not everyone's online, so that's good. But ultimately, the Mamasheba neckerchief is probably the best item, obviously, for 100. Are you going to spend some time grinding away to get yourself a dog-themed neckerchief? I know you are, right? Let's be honest. You might comment below and say you're not, but you're going to do it, like the rest of us. Anyway, thank you kindly for watching. Let me know what you think about the rewards, or indeed for dungeon choices this time around. Obviously, they're pushing people to help people through the Alliance Raid series to unlock that resistance weapon on their characters, which is obviously a good idea. Thank you all kindly for watching once again, and I'll see you all next time.